What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Kai Veil channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell. Have you noticed the homeless population in America is mostly baby boomers? That's right, baby boomers, which are mostly men. It's funny because between ages 57 and 75, that's when everybody's talking about retiring from their job, right? When in reality, what a lot of them will do is they'll try the last few years of working, they'll try to work a bunch of extra days and overtime and then cash out all their PTO and everything just to catch up, right? I know this because I'm in healthcare and I'm with people that are close to retirement all the time. Like, I've lost count of how many people retired since I've been in healthcare. I've been in healthcare a long time, so that's just something to look at. So I don't hear about them having to work at Walmart just to make up ends meet, because most of these retirees or soon to be retired people, they're married and they have property overseas and everything. So usually the people I've worked with in the past, they're okay once they retire because they have other sources of income. Unlike corporate America folks, which a lot of times they didn't build anything over their 20, 30-year work span of working for a company, right? So that's just something to look at. But yeah, if you drive around the cities with the most homeless issues, San Francisco, Oakland, LA, New York, and a few other big name cities, that's another thing. The cities that bring in the most money are the ones with all the homeless issues. The cities that have the highest paying jobs have the highest rate of homeless people, which tend to be more on the boomer side, middle-aged people. Now, see, with the younger people, they're living with their parents. That's why you don't see a lot of young homeless people, because a lot of them are either living with family or they have roommates, or they're in college living in dorms. You know, they took the government handouts and everything. So that's why you don't see a lot of young people on the streets. Not saying that it doesn't exist, but at the same time, you'll see more of the younger population and living in cars if they are homeless. A lot of times the younger people have cars that they live in, they sleep in the car on campus, whatever, you know. That's just something to look at. But also what pisses me off the most is about being homeless is the homeless population, people with the dogs out on the streets. People will cater more for the dog than they will the owner. People don't care about the person being homeless. They care about the dog or whatever animal they have with them being homeless. It's kind of like having a baby in your shoulder. You say, "Oh, poor baby, poor dog." And then you'll go, cater up to them when really you don't care about the human that's homeless. If that human wasn't holding a baby or didn't have a dog right next to him, you'll just pass him on by like nothing ever happened or didn't see him. And another thing is, you won't see a lot of women homeless either. I mean, you'll see a handful, but it's mostly men. And another thing about the boomer generation is most boomers can't afford to divorce their spouse. That's why there's a lot of people in bad marriages. They realize it's cheaper to just stay together and ride it out till the wheels fall off, right? But so a lot of people are in bad marriages too, because they know if they divorce, they'll go broke and homeless, especially the men. That's why most men don't file for divorce, especially older men. So I think it's better when people file for divorce when they're young. That way they don't have a whole lot to lose because they were broke when they got married in the first place, versus them gaining all of this extra money all these years during the course of the marriage. So anyway, that's where we go on that, on the homeless. It's just crazy to me. But as you can see it right here, among the nation's racial and ethnic groups, Black Americans have the highest rate of homelessness. Well, I don't agree with that, because we only make up 13% of the population in America anyway. And when I look around and I see homeless people, it's mostly white people. So what is the fastest growing group among the homeless poor? California accounts for about a third of the nation's homeless people. And among this population, seniors are estimated to be the fastest growing group. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that too. It's mostly, like I said, boomers and older people. They're the highest victims of homelessness. Because, especially with the people of the older generation, a lot of their families died off and probably didn't leave them with nothing. And if they did, whatever they inherited, they probably ended up losing it or selling it because they couldn't afford with the upkeep or whatever was going on in their life. So that's another thing. Speaking of the boomer generation and just hopelessness and not having enough money to retire, that's an epic downfall for Gen X and Gen Z as well. Because see, Gen Z typically is relying on handouts. And see, once they get these handouts, it's going to be too much for them to handle. A lot of Gen Z people are relying on other people to, bail them out of a hole. We see it. They're waiting for their parents to die to take over the house, when 9 times out of 10, they'll probably end up selling the house because there's probably too much upkeep, or they just forget that they have to pay property tax. 70% of those homes that are inherited end up going up for sale. You were supposed to keep the property in the family, but you never started a family on your own. So you just said, fuck it, you'll end up selling it. So then you can live in a luxury apartment in downtown Miami. And that's pretty much how that goes. 2020 for the American Society on Aging wrote that all of the homeless single adults in the early 1990s, 11% were aged 50 and older. By 2003, she says the percentage grew to 37%. Damn, that's a lot. Now, the over 50 demographic represents half of homelessness single adults in the US, with no sign of their numbers slowing, leaving baby boomers, those aged 57 to 75, particularly vulnerable. Yeah, like I said, they think they are ready to retire, but you can't even retire no more. Most people just keep working until their last day breathing. Because to be honest with you, I've also known people that talk about retiring in like the next year or two, but then they end up dying before they even retire. So that's another story. What can be done? Researchers at UCSF told the Journal that about half of the homeless older adults in places like Oakland, New York became unhoused for the first time after their 50th birthday. Damn. It's an entirely different population. These are people who worked their whole lives. They had typical lives, often working physically demanding jobs. Electricians, construction, you get it. The jobs that keep America running. Veterans. I don't understand that. You would think veterans will get treated better when it comes to housing, but they really don't have first dibs on anything. I mean, they have good medical benefits, but that's just about it. And then they get a GI Bill, but then a lot of these veterans are homeless. But see, some of these people don't want to be told what to do either, because see, when they get help and go to these shelters, a lot of them get attacked. They have to be told that they better be in the building before 9 o'clock. See, these people don't want to be told what to do. And then some of these people are party animals too. So there's a lot of different factors of why people don't get help when they're homeless. They don't like being micromanaged, just like when they were in the workforce. So millions of Americans are in massive debt and facing rising crises. Yeah, that's a lot of us too. And see, you're going to always owe money too. But here's the thing about Gen Z and millennials. There's a lot of different ways we can make money now on the side other than our primary job, because see, baby boomers, they just went to work and came home and dealt with their family, versus now in this generation, this hustle culture. This generation, you have 2 or 3 jobs, or you just had a primary job. You're a YouTuber, you're an Uber driver, or whatever else. You invest in stocks. We have all this crypto bullshit. So it's a gift and a curse being in Gen Z. Everything is so expensive, but at the same time, a lot of people are finding extra ways to make extra money. Resources that we didn't have 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. The only thing we had to look up to was a job that didn't even want us there in the first place. But yeah, this is Cali Vale. Hope you got the message. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'm out. Peace.